They say he was onside, just the evidence was inconclusive as to whether or not it hit Rodri's arm. Manchester City 1, Everton 0 then is how it finishes. Of course, a huge win in the title race puts the pressure on Liverpool, who are 5 points behind. Liverpool, of course, not in action in the Premier League as they're taking on Chelsea in the Carabao Cup final on Sunday. Right then, let's welcome in, shall we? Don Hutchison, Jan Arge Fjortoft with us. Don, I feel drawn to you because you have been tweeting up a storm about this handball. Inconclusive evidence.
Well, I told you last week, didn't I? And I said, I expect Man City to drop points because of the Goodison factor, not the form that Everton were in. I just know what it's like to play in that fixture. And
it's up to the VAR operator to guide him. And on this instance,
correct.
Jan, they thought that basically there was not enough evidence to suggest that he hit his. And of course, these are the new rules, aren't they, that were introduced in the fact that the arm isn't the arm, it's the sleeve line. And I imagine that is what they've used basically to state that this was not a conclusive penalty.
Well, first of all, I think that if you're going to explain the handball rule, you had to have Albert Einstein, if he was alive here, instead of me and Don Hutchinson. That is point two. Point one. Point two is that when I discuss the different handball situation in and around football, I always say that there is one thing that is 100% clear, is that if you gain an advantage of using your hand, it's a handball. And when I grew up, that was the only rule we knew. Was it an advantage using your hand? Not advantage doing it. It's so obvious that he uses his hand to get an advantage in that situation. I can't believe in the world that is not a penalty. And for people sitting, you said 2 minutes, and you use 2 minutes not to see that is a penalty. That is the performance of the night, isn't it?
Listen, we've sat here and discussed the empty language that often comes with VAR and making those decisions. And we've referenced clear and obvious. And I think this inconclusive, as is used in this statement, is the emptiest I have heard so far. How can anybody look that over? Anybody involved in the game at any level, look that over and not determine that as a handball is beyond me. How do professionals take 2 minutes with replays, slow motion, and every angle available to mankind and say that somehow that is inconclusive? It's simply beyond belief, and I don't know how to explain it. I really don't. If you're Everton, absolutely you feel cheated by this, given your position in the table. If you're Liverpool, you feel that there's some kind of conspiracy favoring Manchester City because, and I'll say it again, if you're involved in this game in any capacity at any level, you look at that, you come up with the only conclusion there can be, that it's a handball.
It's just incompetence. But like you see everybody going on about conspiracies and blah blah blah. This is just incompetence.
Yeah, but it is, and I think Xhaka makes a good point because they use 2 minutes doing that, and then they come out with an empty, a stupid statement, if I may say. But what they're really saying is that the team we have put at the VAR bus or studio or cellar or whatever they said, we have no clue about the game. We have some rules that we try to look at desperately for 2 minutes and we're making mistakes. That's fine, do a mistake. But what they are actually telling us, in situations like this, they have no clue about the game. And that is a big thing. And they play it into the hands. There are people. I'm a fan of VAR in the principle that they can turn around things that are clear and obvious. But here they are telling us we have no clue of the game. And then the team set up in this bus or whatever they're sitting is wrong. It's a wrong team.
You know, that's the thing, Dan. And this is what drives me most mad about when we discuss laws and decisions. Everybody takes the law as it's written and breaks it down word for word and tries to explain the situation given how the law is written. But the truth of the matter is there is no way, and Jan touched on it about the handball law, etc. There is no way You can write a law that covers every single incident that the game is going to throw out. There's absolutely no way. So you try to make it broad and encompassing, and then you trust the referees to use common sense, to use the law as a guide and use common sense in how you make your decision. You cannot hide behind the language because, again, there is no way you can write a law that is going to cover everything that happens in the game. And so for you to now take these incidents, see them, let go of whatever common sense you have and hide behind 3 or 4 sentences in the law book is doing the game a disservice.
Away from that incident, concern for City that it took them so long to break down Everton, Don?
A tiny bit, but City are City, Dan. They're professional. They've got world-class players. They find a way. I mean, Everton were really good, but they ran out of legs, and that's what City are brilliant at because they move the ball. They're never quite static. They don't slow the game down. They're always probing. Jordan Pickford had to pull off some good saves towards the end. It was a bad Michael Keane error, and I think when you see it back again, it tells you how tired his legs were because he couldn't move his legs. It got a deflection. He was static. He couldn't react. There was no movement from his legs. He was probably dead out on his feet. So, yeah, listen, City will take it for sure, but Everton fans tonight on social media and, you know, the reaction of people like Ashley Cole and Frank Lampard who are at the football club must be proud of the performance, but so frustrated for a really, really simple handball.
Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.